So finally, as we are right on the cusp of Season 2 of Star Wars Hunters, we have finally gotten some news about what we're going to be getting in Season 2. And although there's not actually a crazy amount of stuff, what we're getting seems to be really, really good. And we do finally have our first look at the brand new Hunter Chaos in a quick little trailer as well. So without wasting any time, I'm going to break down all of the patch notes on the Star Wars Hunters website. So let's get stuck right into it. Now, obviously, the most important thing coming in this season is a brand new Hunter. It has been teased for quite some time now. I think we essentially knew about Chaos before the game even had its global launch, but it hasn't been really official until right now because they had only been teasing it. They didn't officially say that we were getting Chaos. So it is great to finally see some official stuff for Chaos. Now I'm going to read through the little, I guess, description, as there are some good little tidbits of information in here. Now it says, Season 2's Hunter Chaos arrives in the arena. Her enhanced armaments take the brutality of the Empire's KX series security droid to a whole new level. Chaos can use the Bulwark ability, connecting her shields to protect herself and allies while also providing ranged support with her blaster. Don't let Chaos get too close, otherwise she will close the gap with her lunged uppercut before backhanding enemies away. Her ultimate ability, Aftershock, damages and knocks upwards all enemies around her, making them easy targets for allies to eliminate. As a formidable tank, Chaos can push her team forward to victory. So that is confirmation right there that Chaos is going to be a tank, which I'm partly excited about to kind of change up the meta just a little bit, but also I've talked about in previous videos how the tanks in this game are a little bit overpowered, and so the fact we're getting another one is also a little bit terrifying when it comes to the thought of trying to grind ranked, and there's now probably going to be even more tanks that people are playing as. So we're going to have to wait and see how she goes, but she does sound very, very fun from that little description. Now in this blog post we did also get a heap of like balance changes and stuff too, so I'm going to go through all the key ones. I won't go through every single one because there is quite a lot here, but there is some pretty solid stuff overall. Now firstly, Amara Vex is getting a slight damage increase. Her damage is being increased only from 12 to 13, so it's not that big of an increase, but it should make her just a little bit more viable. As for Sentinel, he is getting a pretty solid nerf, which is definitely needed. His suppressing shot knockdown duration is going to be decreased, meaning the time that the enemies are knocked down will be a little bit shorter. That same ability will also use a lot more heat consumption, meaning that it kind of drains your blaster a little bit quicker. He's also getting a slight nerf to his shield health as well, which is very good to see. As for Arental, he's getting a slight damage increase from 10 to 12. He's also going to be getting a weapon spread decrease and recoil decrease as well. So Arental's getting a pretty decent buff there. He should be able to deal a little bit more damage with essentially more accuracy and a higher damage output, which is very good to see. Now Slingshot is also getting a bit of a nerf too. The unstable shield health is getting pretty much the same nerf as what I said for Sentinel. It's about 25 less health. And then the shield explosion damage is also getting nerfed a little bit too. For those who didn't know, when Slingshot's shield gets blown up, it actually deals damage to those around him. So that's getting a slight nerf as well. As for Scorer, who's the one that I think we all knew needed a pretty big nerf in this season, her unstable cocktail ultimate is getting the damage and healing decreased from 20 to 15. So that's a pretty big nerf right there. It's like a 25% change, which is, yeah, it's pretty drastic actually. I know the difference between 20 and 15 doesn't sound that much, but that's gonna pretty massively nerf Scorer, at least her ultimate anyway. They're also reducing her ammo capacity from 12 to 10, just meaning she's going to have to reload a little bit more often, which I also think is a pretty solid change. As for Groz, it seems he's actually getting a pretty drastic buff, which I am kind of surprised about. He's not that good of a hunter, but he can tank so much damage, and they're actually giving him more damage reduction across the board depending on the level that you have Groz at. It's about a 30% increase in damage reduction when you use that Warcry ability. So I already thought Groz was a freaking tank. He just feels like he can take so much damage, which is obviously the point of a tank hunter, but I felt like he was almost too much. Now he's actually going to be even more than that. So I've got a bit of a feeling that Groz could potentially push into the meta. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes, but yeah, that's a little bit surprising to me. Lastly, for Sprocket, he is essentially just getting a slight speed increase, which I think actually works really well for Sprocket. Now finally, as for what we're getting in the rest of the season as well, the season is being branded as Empire Resurgent, so this is essentially an Empire themed season. And with that comes a brand new map, which is very, very cool to see. This is Vader's Castle. So yes, we are actually going to be able to play on Vader's Castle on Mustafar, and this map so far looks pretty damn awesome. They've also mentioned that the legendary costume for this season when it comes to ranked is going to be for Zaina. So obviously getting to Kyber 1 will earn us a really cool skin for Zaina. I'm keen to see what that is. I wonder if that is going to be Empire themed as well, or if it'll be more in line with what the previous season was with like a gold skin. I'm not too sure what that's going to be, but very keen to see what that is. They've also mentioned there's going to be another one of those events similar to what there was in season 1, where it was between Arental and Amara Vex. There's going to be the same thing, but between Groz and Chaos. So we're going to be randomly assigned to one of the teams, and we're going to be able to unlock some skins for those hunters as well. And then lastly, they've said that there is going to be 327 new pieces of cosmetic content going out in update 2.0. There's going to be 82 costumes, 82 weapon wraps, 40 avatars, 70 stickers, and 53 victory poses. And I'm not going to lie, some of these skins are absolutely fire. As you can see here, there is a skin of Reeve pretty much dressed up as Darth Vader, which is awesome. There's a big image here that has kind of like a bunch of hunters. You can see on the left that Chaos has a really, really cool skin that turns the shields into essentially the throne room window, which is pretty awesome to see. I'd imagine that will actually most likely be the final tier unlock for the arena pass. And then as you can see, there's a bunch of other awesome Imperial themed skins for a lot of other hunters too. There's a Death Trooper for Sentinel, which is awesome. Scorer's like officer skin looks awesome as well. So it's going to be a lot of awesome skins this season. I do hope some of them are available for purchasing with credits, not just crystals, because obviously skins and cosmetics and stuff are all fun, but if we have to pay for every single one of them, then I don't think anyone can afford to do that. So yeah, let's hope some of these are for free, or at least unlockable through the arena pass and stuff like that, but we are just going to have to wait and see how that goes. Now lastly, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be excited about, they have quickly talked about some controller layout presets as well. There's been a lot of complaints, which are rightly so, complaining about the layout on handheld devices. Obviously the layout of the HUD and stuff doesn't really matter that much when you're playing on Switch or even on a controller, but if you're playing handheld on a phone, the HUD massively makes a difference, because obviously that's where the buttons are placed. So they've said here, want to change or try out different in-match control schemes to match your preferred playstyle. In the control section of the settings, you can now choose the option to use 2, 3, or 4 finger controls to your liking. Now, I'm not too sure that's still going to be up to people's standards. I think people are still going to want customizable HUD, but at least this is offering something different. Hopefully it does help a little bit for those players, but I do still think in the future they're going to need to add custom HUD support, because yeah, it does seem to be a little bit frustrating for a lot of players who are playing handheld. That's probably one of, if not the biggest complaint that I've heard in season 1, is that people aren't a big fan of the layout when it comes to playing on their phone. But that is pretty much all of the news for season 2. There's going to be a lot of content here on the channel over the next week or so, going over all of this content. I'll be doing a quick sort of guide when it comes to playing as Chaos, reviewing the season and all that kind of thing. There's going to be a lot of fun content, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss out on any upcoming Star Wars Hunters content. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.